Hi everyone, and welcome to July in the 2014 Bellin Corporate Health Challenge. I'm Nurse Jessie, your health coach and wellness consultant. I hope you've been enjoying the videos. I was surprised on my last shoot by our producer, Michelle, who divulged a little secret to me, and she said that she's been participating in the Corporate Health Challenge at home, and she graciously accepted my invite to come here today and talk about what interests you, why you joined, and also what you've gained. So welcome.
Thank you. So I think back in January when we did our first episode was more of the planning phase of thinking about what your goals were and how you wanted to make your life better. And then the next month was starting to think about, how to eat better, how to eat whole foods, and I had the challenge of incorporating more vegetables into my life. And that has made a huge difference in terms of my energy level, my mood, and if I do have a bad day and I, change my eating habits and I eat poorly, I can tell the difference. And it's more of a motivation to eat better because it makes me feel better.
Absolutely, and I think, you shared with me that it actually brought a little bit of weight loss as well. Do you care if you share that number with us?
To date, I have lost almost 20 pounds.
Wow, so congratulations. So your body just kind of let it go because it had the nutrients it needed.
Yes.
And it was healing. So great. One aspect that we touched on in private conversation was the aspect of emotional eating and how that can really sabotage our weight loss efforts. And it really is a big problem. I mean, I see it in coaching a lot in my practice. And you were kind of mentioning how stress can impact you. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, in my field, in my profession, we can have some very stressful days. I'd have a bad day and I'd get home and I would just eat things that weren't good for me. And I knew it, and yet I still did it, but then it would make me feel bad afterwards for doing it. So it was kind of a catch-22 there, just in this cycle that I couldn't break, and that's been a big thing to deal with.
Yeah. And I've heard it coined, you start each day on a diet and you end on a binge. And I think this is really common. And it's really common with those feelings of guilt and being ashamed at the end of the day, saying, I want to be thin and healthy, but yet I do this to self-sabotage myself. And it really doesn't lead us anywhere but a downhill. So I just want everybody to know that it is not a character flaw. It is not, us that has something wrong. It's a way of conditioned hyper eating, It's something that's worked for us as like a survival. We can really stop the stress response by eating this food, and it's just stopped. And we look to it again and again. It's conditioned. So this month, your challenge is to interrupt a food craving by any means that you so choose. It's basically like self-soothing. So what could you do to make it, yourself feel better? So it's like, you might be needing water, actually. You might be thirsty. If you're lonely, phone a friend. If you're anxious and you have energy, go for a walk. Cuddle the kids, hug the dog, You might be needing a few of those things. But food is so readily available and accessible that it's perfectly acceptable to go and, overeat because you're happy or you're sad or you're at a family function, things like that. So I don't want to lose sight of those previous challenges too. So continue eating all your vegetables. That's a huge thing. And also staying away from a lot of the processed food. There's a lot of ingredients in there that will make you crave that more and more. So if you're craving a specific food like a salt or a sugar or something sweet, that's an emotional trigger. That's an emotional thought. So that's not pure hunger. So at that point, you need to do that quick intercession and think, what can I try now? I know I'm going through this. Don't beat yourself up over it. And see what works for you. I don't think you're ever really cured from emotional eating. You just kind of find a pattern that works well for you. So giving yourself that acceptance and where you're at and where you're going. And together, we'll live healthy and live well.